asking of our city leaders to be responsible, to take responsibility for their job. But we are also asking ourselves to be responsible and take responsibility for our job. Our job is to keep our community safe. We can't ask what we won't do. We can't lead where we won't go. Where are your children tonight? Make sure that you know it's time for us to say, no, Johnny, not tonight. You're coming in.
We have come today from downtown, uptown, back of town, bucktown, out front of town, across town, and some even from out of town, to the steps of the seat of our city's government. And we've come today to lodge our complaint. We've left our homes, our neighborhoods, and even our jobs, and have tread across streets that are soiled by, saturated in, and soaked with the blood of our sons and siblings, our mothers and fathers, our friends and our neighbors. We've left our diverse, fear-filled communities and joined today as one undivided and determined, fearless community to declare our dissatisfaction, to proclaim our petitions, and to place them before the powers that be. We have come to declare that a city which could not be drowned in the waters of a storm will not be drowned in the blood of its citizens. If we did not allow a violent maelstrom to extinguish the legitimacy of our future, we will not allow violent men to extinguish the lives of our families. Enough hearts broken, enough streets blooded, and enough lives taken, enough communities shaken. We've seen enough yellow tape and enough coroner's wagons. We have allowed murderers to feel comfortable and families of victims to go uncomforted for too long.
Thank you, the residents of New Orleans, for being here today to deliver our message of desperation and exasperation. For the last year, our neighborhoods have been the model of civic participation. We have made every effort to communicate with our city officials and work closely with the police. In spite of this, Steve Riley was shot in the head Monday night while squatting in a vacant house. Today, the trail of blood and open door remain. Chief Warren Riley and Mayor Nagin's call for residents to galvanize is an insult. We have been galvanized. For 16 months, we have been galvanized. We live in a city where the inaction of our federal, state, and local governments force us to step over the bodies of the dead. We are doing our community policing. We need backup. We need backup by the NOPD. We need backup by the DA.
Someone has to care.
To quote our mayor, I am pissed. Let's fix the biggest goddamn crisis in the history of America. Let us do it.
But make no mistake, we are not marching just for Helen Hill. We're marching for Dick Shavers. We're marching for Jelena Brown. We're marching for Steve Blair and Corey Hayes and Eddie St. Fleur and Manya Gindi. We're marching for Don Morgan and Larry Glover and Mike Frey. We're marching for Preston Turner. And I mention Preston because he was a 15-year-old child who was gunned down in broad daylight on the street corner near my house in Mid-City back in 2004. And does anybody remember that day in 2004 when 9 people were killed by guns in just over 24 hours? This is not a new problem. It is not a Katrina problem. Because this murderous, violent society is our society. How can we be proud of the good things in our society if we do not take responsibility for the bad? Fueling our anger is the perception that our leaders do not share our fear and our sense of shame. And so today I want to say, shame on you, Mayor Nagin, Superintendent Riley, District Attorney Jordan. You have really let us down. You have failed us. The criminal justice system and the government is broken. And I want to communicate to you the level of outrage that my friends and neighbors are feeling, because we don't think you get it. Families that have lived in New Orleans for over 300 years are talking about leaving. People displaced by the flood are saying they're afraid to come back. That is the level of hopelessness and despair. They'd like you to step up and just do your jobs, but they don't think you can. They'd like you to step down, but they're afraid you'll just be replaced by more incompetent people. Many of my neighbors believe that we need to see the federal government step in and take over New Orleans or the criminal justice system. Which the feeling seems to be that even FEMA couldn't screw up any worse than we have. At first I thought that was a joke, but it seems more possible every day, and there's nothing funny about it. Between 1994 and 1999, the murder rate went down 65%. The credit goes to something called community policing, decentralizing their personnel into the neighborhoods with increased responsibility, more accountability for district commanders. Of course, to do that, we will need more police, and that means better pay for police, so that a cop can get assigned to just one or two zones and really get to know the neighborhood, and neighbors can know them. Let's get back to that. It was working. We must have a higher felony conviction rate. The national average is 57%. Our rate is 7%. We must see a reduction in crime, and above all, a reduction in violent crime, and that is the bottom line. We need long-term solutions too. We must have better schools. We must have an economy beyond tourism. We must pay workers a living wage. We must fight racism and classism wherever it exists. It will take all of us. It will take community involvement. Well, look around. The community is involved, and we will stay involved. To our political class, I say you're on notice. We will be watching.